What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 3 of this podcast. We are here with
Mishka Sidlin
and
Dre.
So, wanted to more so mention Dre, because Dre's new here, in case you didn't know. I don't call him Dre. I don't know if that's what you always go by, so I didn't want to screw that one up. So anyways, we're in episode number 3 here. We're going to try to be a little bit more relaxed. I will state, of course, if you watch me, you know I'm always in front of the camera in a sense. He was in front of the camera last week and the week before. I think we're gonna have a week here where we're skipped on podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are gonna be watching this the following week. I think we'll have another Mythbusters episode out. I'm trying to get another YouTube video out and pretty much go from there. So Dre has been a customer here for about 3 years roughly. He's got the brand new Type R that is behind us, which is going to be at Tuner Galleria. He actually just got his acceptance email over the weekend, so a couple of days ago.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
So I have some stuff we have laid out that I'm gonna ask him some questions. We're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna have a good old time. We're shooting for about 30 to 45 minutes of this podcast. We wanna keep it around that time. That's where it seems like the average viewer duration is at. So if I check my phone every now and then, it's not because I'm bored or tired or I want to get out of here. More so I'm trying to keep on a time schedule here. So first and foremost, as I have in front of me, that I don't want to forget, as I always do forget, new subscribers, new listeners, thank you for being here. People that are returning and have been with me through thick and thin and long terms, thank you very much as well. Highly appreciate that. I try to comment to everybody's comment. I do miss a couple here and there. I will say though, as I have been saying in my Mythbuster stuff as well, the videos I've been doing, and the compliments that we're getting on it, unreal. I appreciate it. It's something that I just kind of brainstormed and went with it, doing fairly well. If you want to see us discuss something, as I say in the Mythbusters episodes, this stuff is for you guys. I'm not doing this because I enjoy just sitting here speaking. I truly want to help you. That's why Dre also came on board. He wants to discuss a couple things from like a customer's perspective. And Mishka, well, as I said before in episode 1, he's the brains behind all the stuff that's behind the camera. And he tells me where to sit, tells me if the light looks good. Last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, the light was super bright. It's dimmed down a little bit. I could still use some sunglasses.
Trying to help you a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We're good. We're good. So let's get into it, man. And I know you're going to be a little bit shy. And I don't know if I mentioned, I think I mentioned, if I didn't, he's never been in front of the camera, really. This is new to him. I know he's kind of, I told him if he freezes up, don't worry, I'm going to help him through it. I'll pull him through. And I can literally, we're super close to not only friends, but this area. Like, we're crammed in. I don't know where else we can do. We're running out of space here as it is. We can have it in another room, but we can't put the Type R behind us. And I mean, come on. I mean, Type R. So March 9th is Tuner Galleria. We will be there. The Type R will be there. We got about 5 or 6 other cars. Mishka will be following us as well, so he's going to be documenting the whole thing. We drive in Friday. I believe you're going to be there Friday, right?
Yep.
So he's going to be documenting all that stuff. But let's get back to Dre. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
That's what's up.
So not a lot of people will see and know behind the scenes, nor do I have to talk about it, but Dre's running on about an hour of sleep because he works nights and he should be sleeping now, but he's here. He's here for us. He's here for the viewers. He's here for maybe his new fan club that he will get. I will say too, go follow him, K-Series Dre. He's on Instagram. You're on Facebook as well. I think it's your personal Facebook.
Yeah, it's just my personal Facebook, but K-Series_Dre. You can find me on Instagram there, and you'll see my Type R and 2 other very cool vehicles.
Gotcha. And that's what I was going to say too. So you have 3 vehicles altogether. Well, if you want to consider the Honda Moto Compacto a vehicle, you have 4.
Yeah, 4.
So why don't you rifle off what you got, what you own?
Well, the very first vehicle, which I'm real known for here at the shop, is I have a 2003 Acura a 2003 Acura RSX Type S, 2004 Honda Civic EP3, and right behind us we have a 2023 Honda Civic Type R.
So going right off of that, which one's your favorite?
Oh, I forgot to mention, I did have an FK8 Type R. That was a 2017.
Really?
That was really my favorite, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I still have love for
Even
this
more
right
so
here.
than this?
Yeah.
Really?
But I love both. I'm a Honda guy, so it's like I had to get it.
Yeah.
Plus, this is the last internal combustion Type R that we have here before they go full electric. So
Maybe.
I had to go. I hope so.
We're still holding out hope.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's a whole other different conversation. But as you were saying too, I didn't want to bring up your other Type R. You know, I don't know if that was a sore subject in a sense. Unfortunately, how you lost it.
Well, I can go into it. It's no big deal. But it was unfortunate. Back last September, Cayman City had a flash flood that came out of nowhere, and unfortunately, it got totaled out due to water damage. So,
Now, I will say this though. So I don't want people to, because we do get customers that, hey, I don't want to do a cold air intake or anything like that. I don't think you had a cold air intake.
no.
Yeah, so it was
stock.
stock. When he said the Calumet flood that we got, that wasn't a normal flood. That was like, that was devastation.
Yeah.
For that town and that city. So if you're not familiar with that too, you can go Google it. And I wasn't documented that much. I think it was kind of just, swept under the rug in a sense, but.
Yeah, there was a lot of cars underwater.
Yeah.
I'm talking about multiple streets.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And not just, like I said, not just a little. I mean, this, I think that I saw an aerial view from like a helicopter, and it was, I don't want to compare it to New Orleans at all, but that's kind of what it almost looked like in a sense, with the houses covered, and, it was pretty bad.
There was a lot of tow trucks working for free, pulling drivers out.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Because they were stuck in it, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can't say you moved on to better things because you liked the original one better than this one.
I still technically did in a sense.
Yeah.
Still moved on to better things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful car.
It is.
What's not to like about it?
I mean, that's the thing too. I personally, I like the style of this one. I think it's a lot smoother. I think it's a little bit more elegant in a sense, but at the same time, I will say though, the other one was more aggressive.
Yeah.
And that's, I won't say the old Type R's were aggressive in a sense, but that to me kind of what's made it stand out. This, like, it's
toned down a bit.
It's toned down. I'm older. I'm 40. I don't know how old you are roughly.
I'm 30.
30. Okay, so not fairly old still. How old are you?
31.
31. Okay, so I'm the oldest one here. Maybe it's because I'm an older guy that I like it and it's toned down a little bit. But to me, and I'll say this, and I don't know, people might give me flack about it, but I've said it before too, like Type R's, I'm always going to be an old school fan of the Type R's. I think these platforms, the newer ones, it's a completely different ballgame. And there's nothing wrong with that too, I'll say. Everybody has their own taste and preference and style. Now, would I want to drive my family around in an older Type R? Probably not. Maybe once or twice every weekend in a month or something. But something like this, I can definitely see the family getting in, having fun. We lowered it, so we're going to do a video on that too. We did lower it. Still handles like a dream. And that's kind of what it is too, in a sense. Which also kind of goes without saying. We've been asked a couple times, do we think that these Type R's are going to kind of go down in history as the older Type R's and how collectible they are in a sense? I mean, time will only tell. And as I said before too, I'm not trying to insult anybody. Everybody has their own taste and feelings. It's not my car. I didn't pay for it. So ultimately, if this man loves it, so be it. So besides the original Type R you had, and then this one, you had the EP3 and the RSX. The RSX, so what we're gonna do here, well, hopefully we can do here, he can do here. I have a bunch of pictures of his car. I also have some videos. We're gonna overlay it as we're speaking, so you hopefully don't have to see me talk nonstop. I mean, do you have when it comes down to the RSX and EP3, which one do you, not speaking about what you have done, because one's turbo and one's all motor, which platform do you like better?
I'm gonna go with the DC5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the aggressiveness. I love the dashboard on the inside, and the fact that I've turboed it now. So we're gonna be hopefully making upwards of close to 500.
Yeah.
That's the goal on E85.
That's gonna be a rocket.
Oh yeah, it's already lightweight. I already have a Quaife LSD in it, so when I get on the throttle, it likes to still throw me.
That's awesome.
You know, just torque steer, but it's fun.
Yeah. It's definitely. I don't want to say it's a full-out race car, but it's pretty close to being one.
Yeah.
We were debating on actually taking it to Tuner Galleria, and the outside. I mean, he's going to be the first one to tell you too, so it's not like I'm insulting. The outside is not good looking. It needs to be wrapped or it needs to be painted, which he's aware of.
Yeah.
But the engine bay is something else. It's spectacular. The amount of money that he has put in to do things right over time, because I know when he originally came here, which we'll discuss that. Well, let's just discuss it right now. The first time he showed up, it was a weekend, and I was up in the air on our forklift. We have a little safety cage, and I don't like heights. I don't care even if I'm in a harness. I don't like heights. So as I'm up and I'm near the roof, I hear, and it's nice out, so it's summertime. I hear a car coming. I won't say flying by the shop, but he was coming down pretty quickly. He downshifting, and I can hear it. We're thinking, I had other guys here, like, who's showing up on the weekend, and I myself was, like I said, was still up in the air. And the one guy we had here working the tech, he was helping me. He went out, talked to him, and said, hey, he's just, he wants to, I think you just got some body work done.
No, I had just put a eBay turbo kit on.
Okay.
We had to start somewhere.
Okay.
I wasn't making the money that I'm making now, so I had to start from the bottom. I came here. I had an eBay turbo kit and with no exhaust.
Okay.
Literally, it was just.
That's why it was.
It was literally just down pipe.
Yeah.
So when you heard me downshift and everything, it kind of like rattled some ears and scared a couple of people, but it was fun.
Now I will say, I never got down off the forklift cage, and it was the weekend. So when we're here on the weekend, we have a main focus to get work done and go home and at least my main focus is to get what we got to get done, go home so we could be with family. That's my main goal, and I don't want people working here on the weekends. It's family time. So I told the one tech, I said, go out and talk to him, see what info he wants, and we'll call him back and go from there. So I actually never got down. I saw his car while I was way up in the air, and that basically led him here. And it's been a nonstop. I will say over the course of the 3 years, roughly, give or take, he has become a very close friend. He is one of those, I will say this, and people hear me say, how we become friends with customers and how I consider them family. And, I know some people might think that's kind of BS, and it's really not. So we have became super close where he checks up on me. He knows that I've been through some rough patches in life ever since I lost my father. As far as depression goes, I don't hide it. I suffer from it. I go to therapy. I don't hide that either. When you lose someone that was so close to how me and my dad had a relationship, and it happened, massive heart attack happened immediately, it screwed me up. So I will say, over the years, this man has been here where he'll text me, he'll make sure I'm okay, he'll make sure, hey, how you doing? How's the family doing? And I get a lot of that from other people, don't get me wrong. But there's always, as a business owner, there's a fine line when people will hit me up and say, hey, how you doing? And then they'll follow up with, hey, I just wanted to ask you a technical question. I know it's the weekend or I know it's a holiday. I don't get that from you. And I've said it before, man, and I'm very thankful to have you in my life. I do think
Not a problem, man.
I do think stuff happens for a reason. I am one of those that, that day, because normally we're not usually here on the weekends. We're doing some remodeling. There's a reason why we were here that day. That's what I believe, and why you showed up the way you showed up.
Yeah.
And I could have even told my tech, "Hey, don't go out there. Don't worry about it. Tell them we're closed. Here's a business card." And who knows where we would have went to. So, I wanted to give him that shout out and that recognition. I have some other stuff here too. We're gonna speak about. Well, I got some questions that I told you that I wanted to ask you. Mm-hmm. How long have you been in the car scene?
Been in the car scene for about maybe 12, 15 years, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm 30, but I originally got
So you got
started,
when
through
you're about
PlayStation.
Okay. I was gonna
Yeah.
say when you basically were able to drive.
Yeah.
Which you were gonna say PlayStation.
Yeah, but even before I had my license and everything, I got into the car scene. My
Had that
grandfather
itch.
was able to take me to a lot of car shows.
Okay.
Things when it was like hot import nights down there. Down in McCormick Place and things of that nature. So, yeah.
Okay. I will say this too, and I was supposed to kind of do this in the intro. So Dre is a brand ambassador. What does that basically mean? That means he has to represent our company and as such if he's going out to events. There's other stuff too that he has to do. And it's a mutual relationship. So him being a brand ambassador, he also does get some benefits of the shop. If he ever needs to use the shop in a sense where he can install something, but hey, it's a lot easier. Do you have a lift available or free? We have that relationship with people that we allow it. My whole thing, as I've said it before, I've been doing this now for 24 years. It's about giving back. It's about helping people out. I have a shop. I have a dyno. I have lifts. I have a fuel injector cleaning machine. I have tire machines. I want to help people out. And that might sound weird as a business owner, but you know, it's why you're here today. I'm not paying you to be here. I'll say that too. Like, he's not getting anything. He wanted to do this on his own time. And it's more so just like a mutual friendship type deal.
Yeah, it is, because I mean, I always stop by and check on the team here at the shop, because I mean, just like you said, you're being welcomed into a family, and I've been feeling that way since day one.
Yes.
So I'll stop in occasionally and I'll bring some donuts. On hot days, like last summer was really hot.
Yes.
I'll bring a couple cases of water in and things of that nature. I mean,
Yes.
you do the same. You check on me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we all go through things. I mean, that's just the circle of life, you know.
That just and yeah, I forgot to mention more so, but you know I'm thankful.
Oh, yeah.
Him always checking up when we have the super hot days in the summertime. He's the first one to text me in the morning, saying, "Hey man, don't overdo it today. Make sure you take some time out." And it's stuff like that that speaks volumes. You know, him bringing us stuff too. Everybody in the shop is thankful for that stuff too. But you know, it more so speaks volumes when somebody actually cares about you, cares about not just what you do in a sense, but they look out for your well-being. So, you know, and then speaking about on that too, well, let's go back here. So, Need for Speed, well, we got some probably PlayStation guys here and going back. What was your favorite? What's the favorite? What's your
PlayStation? That's first favorite platform.
what game though?
Oh, you already know.
Need for Speed?
Underground 2, with Gran Turismo, Midnight Club, anything that has racing in it, I'm on it, man.
Yeah.
It's like I can't race illegally on the street, but at least I can do it in the game.
Yep.
But as I got older, I was like, all right, it's time to put the games down. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I can actually afford some of these cars.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and build something.
Yeah. And as I was actually just messaging here, and I didn't say it in the intro, I said it in the other podcast. I'm a shop, in case you can't tell. We're actually still working, people next door. So my guys do know to kind of keep it down in a sense. We're trying a little something different with the sound. So if you do hear them working, well, we're a shop. I can't just stop that. This doesn't pay the bills. I'm doing this all for free. So I wanted to get that out. What else do we got? What else do we want to discuss here?
Well, you said you got started with PlayStation and stuff. Did you have like a whole sim setup, or was it just on controller? Or
Well, we didn't have Sims back in the early 2000s.
oh yeah, that's true.
So if I did have a steering wheel though.
Okay.
So just had a Logitech steering wheel with the pedals and stuff like that, and start playing the game.
Yeah.
You know, but I can honestly say, Need for Speed Underground. That was the one that like. That and Fast and Furious.
That got you.
That's where it took off.
See, I think I was big into Gran Turismo.
Yeah, me too.
And I know a lot of guys were into, I think, Forza.
Yeah.
Forza was Xbox. I never got into Forza. Gran Turismo I really got into. I think the last one, I was PlayStation 3. It was the Gran Turismo, but I think it was a concept version. I think that was my last one. But in all honesty, you can actually see when I stopped playing video games, in a sense, is when I had my first daughter. So they're still around that time. I believe I have a brand new game still in the package that I won't say that I lost passion to play. You just don't find the time, in a sense, when you have kids. So the need for speed stuff I know is really big. I never got into it. I got into the original. See, the original Need for Speed, and I could be wrong on this, and some guys don't even know what the heck I'm talking about, but I think the original Need for Speed was for a system called 3DO. Now, I had 3DO. If you're not familiar with 3DO, you can go look it up.
I'm not familiar with
3DO was old. It was supposed to be, if I recall correctly, the system that was like a real home arcade.
Okay.
But at the time, I think it was like $500 or $800 for the console. Mm-hmm. And I was a kid, and I just so happened, I guess I was gonna buy it with a friend. We were gonna go in halves, and he bailed on me last minute, which, keeping in mind we're young, very hard to finance an $800 or $700, whatever it was. And my mom was working somewhere, and she's like, hey, such and such that I work for has it. He doesn't want it. He was an older guy. We can get it. And my eyes lit up, and that was the first time I remember playing Need for Speed on that system.
Okay.
And there were some other games too that were really popular in a sense for that, but it would be interesting to see what the first Need for Speed was actually.
The biggest thing was the customization.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. As it progressed with time, so Need for Speed for 3DO, you couldn't really do anything. You think you had a pick selection of like 4 or 5 cars. That was it. The Need for Speed, and I know like the Undergrounds.
Yeah.
I believe personally that was a big thing where guys got into what we do now.
Yeah. There was probably the one time you could be a racer and be okay.
Yeah.
Even at the shows.
I was gonna say Go.
I was really into this one game. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it or played it, but it was by Nitto. It was on a computer. It was Nitto 1320 or something like that.
I played that for a little bit.
It was like drag racing on the computer, and that like you could modify. You like race people for pinks. Like it was crazy.
I remember that, and it was it was cool what you can do, and it was like probably the first real catchy drag racing game, but you were still so limited.
Yeah.
And I think it was like, I don't even think you could steer. I think you had to get your reaction time down, hold the button, and then just see who was the fastest. Yeah, exactly. So like it lasted for a little bit, but then it was like everybody got bored of it because they knew what car to modify to be the quickest, and it was just based on reaction time, which, I guess drag racing like that is in a sense.
Sounds to me is exactly just like real life. You gotta.
I was gonna say that too.
What you gotta hold, because once the tires go in the air and stuff like that, you got the steering ain't there. Yeah. So it's like you're steering with the throttle the whole entire time. So if you're not steering with the throttle, you best believe it's a wrap. You're gonna be in the wall somewhere.
Going back on the whole brand ambassador stuff too, what I also want to say is if you see this guy out at any kind of shows and whatnot, not only does he have to hold up a certain standard, as I said, he is one of the most friendliest guys that you'll ever meet. So if you're, hey, I've seen him on the podcast and you're kind of scared to go up to him, go up to him.
Yeah, come say hi.
He's going to have, we try to give him some free stuff every now and then, whether it just be the free stickers, which I have here, which I wanted to talk about that here shortly too. Stop by and say hi to him though. What we're trying to do this year, what I'm trying to do this year, I've had meetings with him in a sense, we're trying to bring everyone together. We're trying to, when I used to go to car shows, I don't go as much, there used to always be a group of guys that would keep to themselves in the corner, and to me it felt like nobody welcomed them. Whether they had, maybe they didn't have a lot of modifications done, maybe they had rep wheels and they felt like they didn't fit in. The biggest thing that I am encouraging my guys too, because I don't go to a lot of meets, and he's going to be at a lot of meets, is not only to be friendly with people, but get the younger guys involved. Go up to them, say hi, say, hey, this is what I'm about. And when I first started the company, and still to this day, we do some awesome stuff. Don't get me wrong. And we do forget at times it's a job, and other times we bang our heads against the wall and realize it's a tough job at times. But at the end of the day, the car scene is about family, and that's what we've been talking about in this whole podcast, and some of the stuff too that I have with stickers. So I wanted to talk really quick about this. One of the newest stickers that we have designed here is a new camo one, and you know, the whole thing behind the camo one was to give back something to people that are in the military still currently, but also to give back to the vets. And you know, I have a big thing. I actually employ a vet here. We have a really good relationship. So when I actually was designing this, it was kind of a secret, and this was presented to him as it was a kind of a thank you, a token in a sense. But the whole thing too, though, like the stickers we have before that, besides the Chicago flag, which, you know, it's not really culture in a sense, but you know, well, you have the American flag too. I'm missing the Hispanic, or the, what is it? What, not the Hispanic flag, the Mexico flag. I'm sorry. But we got the Puerto Rican flag. Like, this is all, it doesn't matter who you are in a sense. Like, it's truly like a family. So guys come in here all the time and they're always so thankful. Hey, you took the time out and explained something to me. You didn't have to, or over emails. You know, we go above and beyond here, and it's more so I was raised to not only treat people how you would like to be treated, but to go the extra mile. I had a guy yesterday, he contacted me in email. We shipped him one of our Haltech harnesses out, and he thought some of the pins were mixed up. And I explained to him how we have a system here when we do our harnesses, we can almost not fail. And nobody's perfect. So I had him get me pictures, and then within 10 minutes, I was remoted into his setup. I was looking at what was wrong, and then I want to say maybe 4 hours later, he hits me up, and we were talking personally on Facebook because I was remoted into his setup. He hits me up at nighttime, and he's like, dude, he's like, the car's running. The car, he's like, I can't thank you enough. He's got a tuner wherever he's at and located. He's also got a YouTube channel, which I not remembering right now, but I'll link it down below too. And in my other videos, I told him I would talk about it. But in the same sense, you go from him thinking he has an issue with the harness that we made, emailed pretty quickly back and forth, and then I was remoted in. And none of that stuff I'll say like I had to do in a sense, but it's to support. When I tell customers, you know, you're here in our minds from start to finish. If we ship something off across the country, across the world, we're gonna be here to support you. And that goes without saying too, like with the locals, Dre has asked many a times, like, hey, I'm doing this, what's the best steps? I know you guys can do it, but I wanna learn. And it's like, okay, you know, do this, do that, look out for this. I encourage, and sometimes it's a little bit surprising, because if you're new here, you know, yes, it's a business, but guys kind of get thrown off by that. It's like, why are you trying to help people when you're taking money out of your pocket? Well, you know, this goes too without saying with other shops. I've talked about it before, how other shops, in order for them to gain customers, they have to badmouth another shop. There's enough success to go around. If I help this guy do a timing chain job and kind of give him some steps, it's not going to be taking food off the table for my family. You know, he also refers a lot of customers here. So it's, as I say, you scratch my back, we scratch your back. And it's just, you know, there's no challenge, there's no competition, there's no, you know, this or that. So I'm just trying to get the whole point across on that. You know, I preach it all the time, how customers are family. I know people that are new here might think it's just kind of BS, but it's really not, you know, so.
And to really add on to that, for the car scene, we all should be a family out in the streets and the parking lots, things of that nature. We should not be bad-mouthing each other about each other's builds and things of that nature, because we all had to start somewhere. Yep. Just like I did with my RSX, I had to start with buying eBay parts because that's all I could afford, you know.
And
we take little steps just to get where we are, you know, with our builds, and once we're able to get there, we good.
Mm-hmm. You hit the nail on the head too, man, with that. You know, I tell people all the time, like, you can be one way or the other. You can either be a nice person You can, well, let me say, there's a middle in between.
Yeah.
You could be a super nice person. You can maybe just go about your day. You go to a car show. You don't want to talk to anybody. There's nothing wrong with that in a sense. But he hit the nail on the head. And I actually got a comment, I think it was on my last Mythbusters video, where somebody went back to the message board days, the forum days. And, you know, they said one thing that's still happening in this industry, and I think it will always happen, because I think it's an ego-fueled industry, but it's the hate.
Yeah.
It's and that's been there forever. It's, you know, guys wanting to talk smack. I want to watch my language here so we don't get censored. But guys want to talk smack about a certain build because somebody couldn't afford something.
Right.
At the end of the day, we're here for the same stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'll say this too, like, guys will walk in. If you've been here before, you know that we have a lot of Hondas here, a lot of Acuras. But we also have, I'm looking at a Nissan 240. We have a 74, 73-ish Mustang next door we're doing. Every now and then we'll have a guy come in, oh, I got an SRT4, man, I'm sure you guys hate those. And it's like, no, man, like, we don't care what you have. Like, and it's, if you're not a car club, not a car club, I didn't mean that. If you're not a car enthusiast, then it's hard for you to understand what I'm trying to talk about. There's a feeling in this car community about the true people that are just not there to hate on other people's builds. They understand what it takes to come together when somebody needs stuff. And that's a big thing too with track days, or I know you've been to a couple Honda days, I believe. When people need something at track days, like, that's when car communities, you'll really see that group come together. You know, hey, this guy needs something, I got an extra one, or hey, I'm not racing the next race. Take the part off your own car and give it to somebody. Yep. And I mean, that's just, I'll say this, and it doesn't make you a bad person, but it's just, we need more good people in this world. Yep. And you know, I don't want to get into everything going on in this world. I tell people all the time, when you come here, this is our bubble. I don't care what's going on outside the world, in a sense. We come here, we have fun. As I said, we forget sometimes it's a job. We don't want to talk about all that stuff. If you're a good person, go ahead.
It's a healthy work environment.
It's a healthy work environment, which, you know, I had to get Angel involved in a video because somebody said I don't feature any of my employees because they hate their lives and they hate their jobs, and it's actually the opposite.
It's fun here.
It's guys forget that they actually work here in a sense, and then I'll say this, they forget that I can be a boss. I can yell. Got to do what you got to do at times. But that's the same thing too. That's how I live my life. Mm-hmm. I try to be a positive person. I try to always be happy. Yes, I'm going to have some bad days, as I said before too. I suffer from depression. But I will say too, on top of that, I like to bring that and be open with that, because I know a lot of other people do suffer from that. And I think that's the whole, that's back to the ego thing. You know, I don't want to show emotions. I don't want to show this and that. And I was just having a talk with my younger daughter about that. And guys in a certain way it's kind of almost, you're supposed to be a certain way and you're supposed to be that. And I do personally believe, I think some guys take that too much, and they feel like when they pull up to a show, they have to be the best out there. They have to look down on people. They have to kind of snoot their nose and act like they're better than people. But in a sense, everybody has their time. And you know, that's the thing too. I'm gonna need something one day, whether it be, well, you actually sold me some TVs. I needed some TVs for my daughter's room. He had some. I bought them off of him. He gave me a really killer deal. He didn't have to do that. It's just, I believe in karma. So, you got any questions in between?
Well, no. To add on to what you just said,
go for it.
The biggest thing to do is just be yourself. You don't have to be a jerk or be someone else, you know what I'm saying, and that you've seen around. Like, nothing is wrong with being a good person. Okay, if the person has rep wheels, don't knock them for that. Maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they got some other things going on. Somebody needs surgery, or you know, they got to pay a bill, but they wanted something that looked cool for
exactly.
the bill.
Exactly.
Leave them alone.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has their own things going on, and people can only afford so much. Yeah. Cause I was there.
Yep.
And that's the thing too. I remember when I first got in this industry, and I tried to go to certain shops, and I was turned away because I drove a 1990 black CRX, which is still my email address. And I remember guys would just look down on me. You know, it wasn't the cleanest thing in the world and whatnot. It wasn't the fastest thing. To me, it was everything. You know, and I needed more help. And unfortunately, you know, shops didn't want to do that. So, you know, maybe in a sense that's why, you know, I'm open like I am with stuff, why I want to kind of give back and make everybody feel the same way. I mean, I remember too, we had a female customer walk in and you could just tell in her face something was wrong. And I spoke to her and I said, you know, first we diagnosed her car. And then I asked her, I said, hey, you know, you seem a little bit off, man. I don't want to get too personal. And she told me, she said, every shop that I've been through they take advantage of me because I'm a female. They do this, they do that. My heart sunk. Because at that time, my daughters, I have 2 daughters, at that time they were probably about 4 and 3. And I just imagined them walking into a shop. And, you know, we're going through the whole we're going really drastic here because, let's face it, there are shops that will take advantage of females, unfortunately, because they know that they can make more money. You know, I actually told her my story about my kids, and, you know, I don't care if you're a female or not. Nobody should be treated that way. And we do get guys that, you know, we can tell when they walk in the door, man, they can barely get a word out. They've been practicing what to say before they've come in. And it's like, take a deep breath, relax, and remember, like, we're just like everybody else. But I have the benefit of having this shop, which I'm very humble. I almost said awesome shop, I mean, because I think it's awesome.
It's awesome.
But I'll also say this too. The 24 years that I keep saying, it's not about bragging. It's 24 hard years. Yes, I got some more gray hair now, and you get that as you turn 40. But I want to say the first gray hair that I seen when I was like 28. It's very hard to be, I don't even want to say a business owner. It's very hard to be a successful business owner and continue to keep doing this. But I will say, I think a lot of that is I don't treat everybody like a business. I don't see him as a dollar sign. I don't see his car as a dollar sign. You treat people like you want to be treated. My personal belief is that I'm going to be paid back and rewarded one way or the other, whether it be in a business sense or if I put my head down on the pillow tonight and I don't wake up, I hope that there's something bigger out there for me, and I hope that I get repaid in a sense too, which kind of foreshadowing our next podcast, or I don't know if we're going to do before or after, our next podcast too. I know the specific customer that's going to be on here, and I know he's religious. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. We're not going to make it a whole thing. We're not here to turn this thing into a church. But, you know, it's just, I don't know, a little bit about me in a sense. What else do we got? Do we want to discuss anything else? I'm looking at our mark right now. We got about 5-10 minutes left if we want to roll into something.
I got a quick question.
Go for it.
Do you have any plans for that? I know you got 2 other cars that you like build, right? But this one, are you doing something?
For my Type R, I'm really just doing the OEM Plus. I'm basically gonna keep my plan is, you know, plans change over time. But I'm just doing an OEM Plus build, so if anything, I'm just gonna be adding aesthetics to it. That's about it. Front lip, side skirt extensions, a couple carbon fiber bits that you already see on the car now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
That hood.
Yeah. That,
I believe it's APR or ARP right? Hood vent.
That's awesome.
So it sticks up. Pretty nice.
That looks great. That's your daily driver?
No.
No?
My EP3 is my daily driver.
Okay. All right.
I will add too, and I've said it before though, we're going to be at Tuner Galleria. So will this car. The car is fairly stock. It's lowered. It's got some nice accents on the outside. My whole thing, why I told him to register it, is because not everybody gets to see a brand new Type R. You know, you can go to the dealership, maybe they have one, maybe they don't. We're not selling this as like, hey, come to Tuner Galleria and see this thing heavily modified. We want to show people more so like what it's about. I mean, you're gonna love it. I know you're gonna talk to people.
Oh, yeah.
You're bringing the Honda Compacto, Moto Compacto, so that's going to be fun too. So as I
That's great. What is that?
you know
It's a little motor. It's a little scooter.
Oh,
man.
is that something that came in like a van or
You
something?
can buy it as an accessory from Honda.
Oh, okay.
I think it retails for $9.86.
That's so cool.
But you can order it from the Honda Dream Shop.
Now you can?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Today?
you can order
What?
from the Honda Dream Shop, or some dealerships actually have it on hand.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so the original Honda Moto Compacto came in the old Type Rs, I think, right?
No, the Honda City, the '98 Honda City.
Okay, see, so I don't know everything. The Honda City, but I will say, if you compare that one, and the whole thing about the Honda Moto Compacto, especially the new ones, the selling point is they fit inside of a Civic. So
cool.
they fold up. I have a video of it. I wrote it before. The top speed is 15 miles per hour. If you're a little bit of a bigger guy like I am, you know,
some time
top
to get
speed
up there.
might be like 12, 13 miles per hour.
I love that you guys tested that. by the way.
I'll say this too: every bump you feel and hit, you can
You're
feel it
gonna
in your
feel
teeth. But it's nice. And as I said though, it fits in the car. It folds up. It's almost like a suitcase. Now, if you go look at the old Honda Moto Compactos, those also folded up, but those were probably
That
a
was
good.
100 pounds.
I was gonna say those took some weight to them. So. I got some footage of that. We can maybe insert me driving around or whatever we were
Yes,
doing
please.
here.
That would be awesome.
100 pounds versus 45 pounds.
45. So that will be at the show too. We're not going to let people ride it around, of course. We don't want to get in trouble in that sense. But yeah. So what else do we got? Do we want to talk about anything else? I want to get in. If you guys got something you guys want to discuss or hear each other, or if you got something even for me, man. And I'll say this too before, hold that thought.
Yeah.
So we try not to script all this stuff. We do have some certain topics we want to talk about and kind of lead us into stuff. So, but the biggest thing is I told him, we want this to feel real. We want it to be real. You know, we vibe off each other. We see how it goes. So I don't want people to be like, oh, they were not prepared. No, we've been prepared for this more so, but I don't want to be reading off a list and being like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And
Right.
you can't talk about that. You can't talk about that. That's not what it's about. So I also wanted to make that clear. And as we continue to do more episodes, this is number 3, we're going to get a little bit more of a vibe, I would say. I'm hoping to have you back.
Oh yeah, I'll be back.
You're always going to be here, hopefully, in a sense. If not, I'll have another co-host, and we'll figure out all the electronics. I don't know how that goes. What were you going to say, though?
But again, this is my first time on camera. Well, it's technically my second and everything, because remember we did a reveal video on my RS6.
I do kind of remember that. Yes.
Yeah. So
cut him some slack.
yeah,
So
cut me a
don't-
little bit of slack. I might say or whatever. You know, this is still new for me. So
Don't go on his Instagram and be like, man, I could barely hear you. We get it. We understand it. And trust me, in my head, as I'm hearing the tools on the other side, and I'm hearing him, he's a very low talker in a sense. I'm probably a high talker because my hearing is going bad. I'm 40, but being around loud noises, I definitely, when I'm at home a lot more, it's like, what'd you say?
Deaf, yeah.
What? So, I've been told by the wife that I am a loudspeaker, which is probably great for the camera.
yeah.
But in a sense, when I'm in a room together with people, it's like, why are you yelling?
Right.
Which I have been told before by the wife about that. So, anything else you want to discuss?
No, I mean, you mentioned that you got the RSX built and stuff, and we talked about the car culture and how we need to bring each other up and stuff. And, I think it's so funny going to like car shows and stuff because you can really tell who what I call real car guys are and the ones that are just there for the show. Like the people that just show up with like a wrap and like a slammed car, they might be into something too. But the real car guys, I feel like they all gravitate towards a car that doesn't have the prettiest paint.
Yeah.
But you open up that hood and everybody's like, whoa.
Because you can always tell who actually drives there.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing too.
And I had somebody last week, I don't even remember who it was, they were stating like, oh, you should have the cleanest car, and like, you're the business owner. And it's like, nope. Like, number one, my car, my actual project car, I got 3 of them. None of them run. And then my own personal car, well, I won't say it's neglected, but I know if I have a check engine light on for something, it doesn't have to be repaired right away.
No.
But that's more so too because how busy we are.
Yeah.
Which I am truly blessed, don't get me wrong, and I don't neglect my own personal car just because, but you gotta remember if my car's coming in here to get worked on one way or another, either I have to do it, so I get pulled off of something, or somebody else has to do it, and then they get pulled off of something. So normally my car does get serviced, don't get me wrong, and it's more so, hey, can we do this a little bit after hours in a sense, and you know, and we all stick around here and help each other too. So it's not just my car that gets worked on here. That's one of the benefits of working here as well. The techs get to use the lifts, they get the key to the shop in a sense. So it goes without saying. Anything else you want to get out there?
Follow my Instagram if you can. Also follow RC Auto Works.
Of course, I'm hoping you follow RC Auto Works.
On YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Follow the shop. Don't be afraid to stop in.
Every time he mentions that, he gets paid $10 per me. With that being said, I appreciate you guys listening, watching, whatever platform you are on. I think we're on Spotify. We're on Apple. I think we did something to upset Apple.
Yeah, we made them a little mad.
We made Apple a little mad. They pulled our show down, but we'll get that back up.
Yeah,
we'll
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get it. Nothing swear word. That was something about a picture we used, I think, for the cover. I don't know. So appreciate everybody following, listening, watching. Keep the comments coming. Let us know what you want to talk about it. With that being said, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.